welcome to Run to the Balcony. I don't know if Jessica knows, but you know the name of our fans? Probably all two of them.
Yeah.
They're called Bobs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I saw you talk about that on another.
Yeah. Run on the Balcony. Bobs. So this is Jessica. This is my sister. Say hi.
No. Hello.
If you can't hear, she's getting used to using the microphone. If you need to flip it on your shirt, you can.
Hello.
If that might be easier. But you want to tell us a little bit about yourself? Tell us where you're from, what you're doing here.
From Springfield, Tennessee. My name is Jessica. I'm 36. I have a 10-year-old daughter named Shanley. I'm here to see my nephew, Louie, and my sister, Sarah. Shara. My sister, Sarah, and that's why I'm here. And that's who I am.
So we are just kind of chilling this weekend, just whatever. Jason went to NSM tonight, which is our youth ministry on Sunday nights. So he's there tonight, and so Jessica is one of the first people who asked to be a guest on, so she's here, so we thought we'd take advantage of it. So for the last little bit, you've kind of been on a journey with yourself, with
Spiritual journey.
a spiritual journey. You want to talk about that? Maybe how like it got started, like how you decided to like dive into like the walk that you've been.
Yeah, so I've been, well, we'll just say I had a loss in my life. One, that I never thought that I would ever have. So it caused me a lot of grief and heartache to the point where I think last time I was here, I couldn't eat, I couldn't breathe. I felt like I was like suffocating because I was so just overwhelmed with just heartache, really. And so I just got to the point where in my life I was really desperate, to be honest. I was super desperate to just be okay. I was desperate for anything other than like dread and suffocation, to be honest. And I was like, unfortunately I had to get to the place where I didn't have anything left to lose, is what I felt like in my life. And saying that like emotionally, feeling not, obviously I have very many things to be thankful for, but emotionally I felt like I didn't have anything left to lose, and the only thing that I could do was just try to find like the peace of God. And that's what I wanted desperately, was to find the peace of God. And it didn't come easily. I don't know how much you want to just immediately go into, or if you have any questions. It's like I've been through a process to get there, to find it.
Yeah.
And I did, I have done like certain things, and there's things that I do daily too, so I just don't know.
Well, I think before going further, just a little background maybe into our lives and our upbringing. We grew up in a Pentecostal apostolic home. Our parents brought us up going to church, and I'll say for that I'm thankful for that establishment of knowing who God is, and like knowing, like having that even relationship so young, even if I didn't know what it was or like didn't keep up with it, or but so just like going forward into this, just keeping in mind that like I think sometimes it's important to know that even though somebody has like grown up in this, like you still have to do the maintaining. Just like with anything, I mean, even yourself, with any relationship, if you have anything like that, you have to make the choice to to have the relationship in the first place, and then it's your choice to maintain the relationship. Because I think one thing that's so important that sometimes we have to be reminded of is like, is God's not the one who's walking away, like, or He's not the one who's like saying
Distance
no, I
himself.
don't want you. Yeah, it's usually us who are choosing to put a pause on the relationship, if that makes sense. But so Jessica's been on just a kind of deeper journey, or like maybe, how would you describe what you've been on?
Yeah, I mean, like a spiritual journey or like a healing journey, spiritual journey.
I think the word I was just thinking of was like an awakening, like a spiritual awakening. Would you
Could be.
like?
I mean, maybe. But it's like, you know, like learning like new things or finding like new. I don't know that I've been like. I don't know if I would say awakening, only because I've been like I've had some sort of relationship with the Lord for the past couple of years, like prayer, and like I only listen to Christian music. I'd say like 99.9.5% of the time. That's just my preference. You know, so it's not like my spirit's been totally asleep. It's just been like how much deeper and a real active daily relationship with God takes you to another level, you know, than just saying your bedtime prayers and listening to Christian music.
Yeah.
So I would say I haven't been like all the way asleep in the last couple of years, but like on a deeper journey and a healing journey too. So.
You saying that made me think of something that I forgot to tell you about earlier. In the devotional I'm reading, it's called Waking Up to the Goodness of God. It's really good. She, in like pretty much the last few like days of devotionals, she'll like talk about this stuff, you know, like that God wants this for you, God wants this for you, blah blah blah. Well, she talks about how the Israelites, they wanted this, and this, and God started providing it, but it's still like it wasn't almost good enough for them. Like He provided them freedom, out of Egypt, all that. And she was talking about like if you're gonna ask God for it, when He provides, it's up to you to activate your faith and respond to it, or like take off of it. But she uses those words, activate your faith, like you can't just sit on it, you can't just sit there and do nothing. You have to activate your faith to like to use what has been given to you, or to see that God's doing this, or like if God's doing something good or God has provided in prayer, like it's time to activate your faith and like start doing something good. I just like that wording because I think it's cool. It's kind of like an action, like put yourself in action, basically. But anyways, you can continue on with what you were.
Oh, I don't. I just I was just, you know, thinking about the things that, like, what have I done to be able to find a place of peace. I mean, honestly, I mean, we're smart humans here, so I started therapy, and that didn't work out a couple times. I had to switch a couple times, but the lady that I've ended with right now seems to be a decent fit. So, on top of starting regular therapy, I also met with Brother Jonathan and Sister Brandy, who are old youth pastors who pastor our church now, and I don't know where it would be considered, in some part of, in like a Goodlettsville area of Tennessee. So I met with them for some Christian counseling. So I got Christian counseling and therapy, and so when I tell you I was desperate, I mean, and have been, and you know, and then I sought, you know, well, I mean, I'd be lying if I didn't say God provides us with things such as therapy, or such as, you know, if you need to be on a temporary medicine or something like that. Those are tools that we have to use, which I've used. And then along with that, just the different things that I've done, like change my whole schedule of life. Like I set my alarm early for work. So instead of getting up at 5:30 and getting that 30 extra minutes of sleep, I get up at 5 o'clock and I lay in bed and I read my Bible plan for the morning, like immediately for the morning. And one thing that I heard is the first 5 seconds of thought that you have can frame your day, basically. So I heard that and I was like, well, that makes sense. If you wake up and you're immediately thinking of your worry and your concern and what could happen and the stress, then that can, that's the start of your day. So immediately when I consciously realize that I'm awake, I try to say, thank you for this breath. I thank you for bringing life back into me. I thank you for waking me up. I thank you for waking my family up and my loved ones. And I pray that you bless this day and that you'll however you can use me today, use me. Whether it be at work or sending someone to talk or, however, sometimes I'm a sauna. It just depends on where I am. But that's the first thing that before I even open my mind is when my conscious realizes that I'm awake. I immediately think, thank you for this breath. Thank you for waking us up.
How long did it take for you to get to do that? How long have you been consistent doing that?
I've only consistently been doing that for about a week now, but I only just learned that was a possibility of a thing.
Yeah.
But as far as setting my alarm early and reading the word, and even if it's just like a short Bible plan on the app, I do that, and I've been doing that for about a month now, at least a month, in the mornings. I've been doing the nighttime for 2 months now. But in the morning, so that I do my Bible thing, and then I do a 10-minute morning meditation while I'm laying in bed. I don't get up to do it. I do it while I'm laying in bed, because I learned, did I tell you about the meditation?
Mm-hmm.
So I learned that, so there's a scientist, and the scientist was like, I don't do anything without science. She's like, I don't want to do anything without science. I want to see the science.
Mm-hmm.
So there's science behind meditation, and they took this group of people that would meditate for up to 20 minutes a day and the group of people that didn't. So back here is the medulla oblongata, and this back here is our random thoughts, the random thoughts that come in our head throughout the day, all the millions of random thoughts that we have that will carry us around. Mm-hmm. And up here in the frontal cortex, or whatever it is, those are our concentrated thoughts, the ones that we make ourselves think. And the science behind it was the group that meditated for up to 20 minutes a day. This grew and this shrank. This area was enlightened more, and this area was less enlightened, right? In the the brain picture, whatever they do, whether it lighted up or whether it didn't actually grow, but the light up of it. Mm-hmm. The front in our purposeful thinking, basically, and I was like, well, I need that.
What kind of meditation though is it like?
Well, so you can do any, so you can do guided meditation, or if you've got a brain that's quiet, probably do unguided meditation. So I thought meditation was weird or whatever, but then
there can be some meditation practices that are not biblically sound.
Yeah, but this is just regular, center your mind, focus on your body, focus on your breathing. And what I realized you're doing and why this works is because you're learning to control your thoughts. Mm-hmm. And that's hard for me because I'm an overthinker and I think about everything randomly. Yeah. And even to this time, I tried to do a 15-minute one the other day because I've been doing 10-minute. And I was like, I can do this, I looked forward to it, and I could not. Yeah. I cannot. But my goal is to be able to capture. The Bible says, take captive your thoughts, right? And if I can't captivate my thoughts for 10 minutes to just relax, calm, and so then there's a mantra, a quote that you would say, once you're at a certain point in it, and the one that I listen to is, once you're at a certain point and you're supposed to like keep your mind focused, it says, today is a beautiful day of opportunity. I'm exactly where I need to be. I open myself to, it says the Creator, but I say God. So when I say it in my head, I say God. I open myself to God. It says the universe. It says I open myself to the universe, but I say God. So I say I open myself to God and trust Him with the unfolding of my life. And that's the mantra that you say. Like, so if I catch my mind wandering on like what I'm going to do today, I was like, in my head I say, today's a beautiful day of opportunity. I'm exactly where I need to be. I trust God. Open myself to God and the unfolding of, and trust God with the unfolding of my life. So that's my mantra is, while I'm thinking and just focusing on my breathing and my body and keeping your mind focused on just being still right there.
Yeah.
And then it's just like starting. So it is in some way or another like a spiritual thing that I'm thinking about. Just like trusting God to believe that I'm exactly where I need to be.
Yeah.
Today's a brand new day. The one that I listen to, but when she's talking you into that place, it's like today's a new day for beginning, for positivity, for the way you speak, the way that you think, the way that you are going to carry yourself basically throughout the day.
Yeah.
It's a new day. We're going to trust God for the unfolding of our life. Anyways, I do, it's the one that I listen to, and then that's how I start my morning. But then at night, I do a reading. I go to bed at 8 o'clock. Even when Shanley's home, I'll tell her, I don't go to bed, but I tell her I'm going to my room for reading, for my Bible reading or whatever. I'll do the Bible book it's a Good and Perfect Bible study. It's just like a character of the Bible, and it's got the information, the highlights of that person.
Yeah.
And so I read that, and then I log in, I open up the podcast, and I lay in my bed and I listen to a sermon from Life Church. And then when it's over with, it's like a church service for them, so it ends in prayer. So, I say, ew, hold on, Betty. I say, I pray or do the worship song or whatever, and sometimes I just fall asleep. Sometimes if I'm having a hard day and I can't quiet my mind, like I will go to sleep listening to that.
Yeah.
Or there's a nighttime meditation one that I listen to that maybe it puts me straight to sleep. So. Those are just things and like during the day, since I started all this, during the day, when I patrol for work and we're in the car for 12 hours, and instead of just riding around thinking about my worries or my struggles or, anything else, I also listen to a podcast. I listen to like Spiritually Hungry or there's I think they're like Australian church, it sounds like. That it's called Alive, I think. Alive Church or something. I don't know. But I'll listen to that instead of just driving around letting my mind overthink so I can think about positive things.
There's one called Becoming Something. There's Risen Motherhood. They have a book called Risen Motherhood. Then they have a book called Gospel Moms. And then there's one that I really like. This is like, I'm kind of going off just a little bit, like track about what we said, because I was just, anyways. There's one, I really wish I could remember the name. I'll look it up at some point. But it's this couple, and they do a podcast, and they'll bring different people on, and so I work in the election department at in our office now, in our clerk's office, and so obviously last year was the big presidential election, and I think the title of the episode was like, how to be a good Christian during an election. Like that was what it was about. Yeah. And it was just, the couple talking. They had a guest who's a Christian. He's a Democratic Christian, and he was just talking about just all these different things. And it was really good stuff, like really good stuff. I'm like, dang, I wish I would have actually listened to this during election time. Like I wish I could help this little thing, because it was just so good, and it was like, you know, just to, like, as a Christian, like, how do you? I think a good thing that a lot of Christians can think about and take into like account is how can I have these conversations or have conversations while presenting who God is, who Jesus is, but also voicing, like, people are going to have different opinions. I'm going to have different opinions, but still being able to be that light in the midst of all the chaos, in the midst of all the you know, disagreements and division and all that stuff. But it was really good. I kind of stopped listening to him. I think my problem right now is, like, well, I have almost a 5-month-old, and so my, like, brain, I feel like in those moments now in the morning, just kind of, like, shut down. So, like, when I'm home, I try to get up in the morning, which he's awake, and I'll just bring him out on the balcony, and I'll get him a seat, and then I'll just do my devotional. Yeah. But that's, like, usually on the weekends, because during the weekday, I'm, like, waking up last minute, getting his ready, me ready, and then it's, like, being completely honest, it's almost like my relationship with God at that point is, like, the last thing on my mind.
Yeah. I hear you.
And, like, when I want a consistent schedule, and when I want those consistent things, it's been the last thing on my mind. Like, 2 weeks ago, we had started putting him in the crib, so I got my nighttime back, like my nighttime routine back, and so I got a board. I got a board next to my bedside table where I have verses, like my prayer list, all that. I got that. And so, like, and as I jot stuff down for my devotional and stuff, I can click it on my board, and it's, like, right where I can see it. And then I was doing my devotional at night, and I was reading my Bible at night, and then I was like, yes, this is a good time for me, because the mornings are not it. I'm not much of a morning person anyways, but mornings during the week are not it. And then he stopped sleeping through the night, and then he got sick, and then he's doing all this, and so it's like, well, I haven't been doing it at night or in the morning. So it's like where I'm at in life. It's just kind of like trying to find, like, a time for that schedule. Because obviously when I'm home after work, like, like, I want to spend time with him. Yeah. Like that's where I'm. Not that I don't want to spend time in my devotional or with God in that, like, capacity, but it's like, that's just.
It would be. Do you have time to, like, listen to a sermon or a podcast or something at work?
I do, but here's my thing: is I love taking notes. I love taking notes. Mm-hmm. I love writing in my Bible and stuff like that. And so, like, when I'm at work, it's a little harder to just sit there and take notes while you're listening to maybe not so much a podcast, but a sermon.
Well, I've listened to on a podcast, like so iPhones you'll automatically have a podcast thing. I had to download the podcast app, and then I'll listen to, like, Life Church on the podcast app. And
so I'll listen. A lot of times,
pick a sermon.
I'll listen, which actually Northside has a podcast. Like, so our sermon today will be on there, which I'll probably listen to because I took him towards the end of the message, so to take the rest of my notes. But Southeast Christian Church in Louisville, they have a podcast. I listen to that a lot, actually. And I used to actually listen to that in the mornings just while I was getting ready. Like, that's what I would listen to, that kind of thing. Yeah.
And it's not that, and also sometimes it's just like, the more that I find that I have some sort of more of a relationship with God, like, I actually talk to him, like, all the time. I thought that I prayed, pray throughout the day before, but I never, like, and Christians, we go through phases. You know, you go through phases. Yeah. Am I always going to be on the up and up? You know, my goal is to, even if my life changes or evens out or something, you know, different happens, that I remain disciplined. My goal is to remain disciplined. So I can feel like I can talk to him whenever I want about whatever I want. But like the other morning, I got out of bed and well, I've been crying a lot. I think now, well, this weekend we know maybe why. Well, you know, I'm a woman, but but not because of like. One day you called me and I was breaking down crying because I was heartbroken.
Yeah.
And it would just hit me. Now I'm driving around and it's like my, what's that, that video was like, Holy Spirit, activate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, activate.
Yeah.
And I feel like mine is, you know, it's active. Hey, you use that word.
Yeah.
It's activated. So, you know, the Holy Spirit in me is activated. And so it's more sensitive.
Yeah.
So, and then like today, or like the other day, I was crying on the way here. I was like 30 minutes out, and there's, I've been learning about solitude. If you don't know what solitude is, you should learn about it. It's interesting.
Jason
And it's hard.
went through like a whole year of reading about solitude and like practicing.
Practicing solitude is hard. And Nikki was talking about it with me on the phone the other day. It's just like where you just be quiet. No, you don't have to have music. You don't, like, you're not praying really for anything, but you're like sitting quiet with God in a silent place or in a quiet place and like allowing him to speak, right? And it's very hard because we're human and we have a lot to think about. So I had listened to a couple podcasts on the way up because they're like 30 minutes long. I drive like 2.5 hours to get here. And at the end of the last podcast that I listened to, so I listened to like a sermon, and then I listened to Spiritually Hungry one, and then I listened to some Christian girl. I don't know what, her and her husband I think have a podcast, and she was alone that day, and she was talking about I don't even remember what she was talking about, to be honest, but at the end of it was about, like, she mentioned solitude, and I was like, oh well, I've been driving, you know, listening to all this. I was like, all right, so I turn off the radio, and I'm like, okay, God, you know, I quoted what she said. It was like, your servant is here listening. Speak. You know, your servant is here listening. Speak. I'm ready to speak. And now let me warn you, before you say that, you better decide whether you want him to speak, because he might speak things that you don't want to hear. And you might speak things into your life that you're not ready to accept. And it's a struggle. But with that being said, I turn off the radio, and I was like, okay, I'm your servant, I'm here, speak. And I'm trying not to pray, because, like, what do?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to really, like, think about things. You know, you're supposed to be focused on God. So if you're not praying, how do you be focused on God? Think about him or whatever. And I mean, immediately the song came to my head. No place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be than here in your love.
Mm-hmm.
Here in your love. Here in your love.
Yeah.
That song?
Yeah.
And so I just like, and then immediately I just like lose it. And I'm like crying, like snotting crying, huffing and puffing crying. And it's not because I'm sad, and it's not because I'm getting answers. It's because, how am I so lucky that you want to come into my truck? Me. You know what I mean? Like, I say, like, I've not done anything to deserve, the extra, attention, or why would you want to spend your time with me? Oh, goodness. Hold on, buddy. Like, why do you want to spend your time with me? But the funny thing is he does want to spend his time with us.
Yeah.
And it's just that easy. I didn't get what you were saying when you said the word activate. I wasn't feeling it. But when I think about the Holy Spirit in me right now, it's funny that I do think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Activated, because when I lay in bed at night and I get done listening to the sermon, they end it with worship sometimes, or they'll end it with a prayer.
Yeah.
And I'm laying in bed flat on my back. They're like, raise your hands. And I raise my hands up. And I'm telling you, not every time, but sometimes I lose it.
Yeah.
For no reason other than I can just feel the presence of the Lord.
Yeah.
And anybody who's ever been lucky and blessed enough to just bask in the presence of the Lord, there is no place that is better than that.
Right.
Like, think about church camp or the choir practices or, the peace. There is no place ever that is better than that.
Mhm.
And there never has been.
Yeah.
So, I'm thankful, I'm just thankful that he loves me. I'm thankful that if I say that, all the time, I'm thankful that he loves me. I'm thankful that, I'm so thankful. But if I could give any advice, if anybody's going through a struggle or something and they are looking for the peace and putting in the work to get there, I didn't have peace at all until I decided that I trust him. Like, honest to God, decide that I believe in God, that I believe that he has control over my life, and believe that if I put my faith and my trust in him and I have a relationship with him and attempt to do his will and and attempt to just find his favor, that he has control over my life.
Yeah.
And if something exits my life, there's got to be a reason. And if I'm moved into a different place that I never thought I would be, there's got to be a reason. If I I trust him with my job and everything, otherwise I'd be insane right now. Because it's the weekend, and I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. What the future holds for me and my job at the moment.
Yeah.
But I just trust that God has a plan. Has
Right.
to. And if it ain't what I want it to be, there's got to be another one.
Right.
And I don't think that if you, and everybody says that they trust God, right?
Yeah.
And we think we do. But until you're in, you don't know if you do or not. And I guess I was just so desperate for peace and everything else that I just decided. I just decided that I believe in God. I believe he's real. I believe that he has control over the universe in my life. And whatever he wants for me is what I'll do.
Yeah.
Period. Period.
Yeah.
We're not going to get on this topic. We're not. But I will say, even one of my prayers has even been, I'm like, Lord, I'm so desperate for you. I don't know what you have in store for me. If you got a man out there for me, send him my way. I'm not getting, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've said, I'm like, I am yours. Like,
Yeah.
do with me what you want.
Yeah.
You know.
You know what I was thinking? I was thinking about,
Like-
I was thinking about that wording and like how. Why does this chair break 3 times? Hold on, guys. You're
It's so
talking.
hot.
Yeah, I think you
It's so sweaty.
Yeah. I was thinking about that wording, or like, that wording. Have your way with me, Lord. And like if you're gonna sit here and pray that prayer,
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, if I felt like
Like,
there
you
was
better be
anything that I could
ready.
lose that I didn't want to lose, I would not say that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I've never said that.
Yeah.
Honestly, because there's always been something or someone that I didn't want to lose out of my life.
Right.
And so, yeah, I wouldn't say that if you're...
I'm gonna go to this fan.
Yeah.
You can, I'm not gonna pause it, so you can keep talking about things.
What you want to talk about? Louis has a worm, and he likes to chew on it. It's very hot out here, so we're sweaty. Here you go, buddy. Here you go, buddy. You're so hot. Anything to say?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna put it on both of us.
But yeah, like I just think about those things of like we want to ask God for these things, and we want to tell him to like, your will be done, have your way with me, do these things, but like when he starts doing things because you've asked for it, you better be ready
Yeah.
because you've asked for it.
Yep.
When things start changing that were not what you had in mind for yourself,
Yeah.
you better, if you're going to ask for it, you better be okay with it.
Yeah, that's facts.
You're saying it. You've asked the Lord for it, so. you
There's
know.
dangerous prayers, you know. I posted something on Facebook. Oh my gosh. If y'all don't follow me on Facebook, let me just tell you what it was. The who's the guy that sculpted David?
Mhm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Aristotle. It wasn't Aristotle.
Whoever the guy is.
One of the famous artists.
Yeah, one of the famous artists that did the sculpture of David. I did not know that he was famously quoted to say, so when someone asked him, how did you sculpt David the way that you sculpted him, he said, easy. I just chipped away what wasn't David. And I was like, what is that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, you know, if God knows us and he knows who we are and he knows what we're meant to be, if he'll just chip away what's not supposed to be me, chip away what's not God, chip away what's not Jesus. And a lady that I know that always prays for me, she said that's a very bold and dangerous prayer to pray. And I said, it sure is, but when you got, you know,
Yeah.
I don't have anything.
It's honestly
To
like,
lose.
and really that's the thing too, is like, as Christians, like, in complete and true honesty, if, like, as we are following him, that should be what we want, regardless of if we have anything to lose or not.
Should be.
Like, it should be.
Should be.
Could I say, I'm sitting here saying that? No, not at this point in my life. Like,
Yeah.
not right now. But, like, it should be, like, that should be a goal to get to, a goal to be, like, to get to the point where you're like, God, chip away the pieces of me that are not you. But you have to be prepared to lose everything.
Well, while I do have nothing to lose, I said, Lord, chip it away so that I can just stay in the image that you want me to be and I'll never have to lose again. you only open the doors that are meant to be open.
Yeah.
Make me, you know. Because, yeah, I mean, that is not something I would typically say.
Yeah.
And I know that it, you know, I know it seems like pitiful, you know, to say I don't have anything else to lose because I only lost really one thing. But that one thing, probably, if I had to guess, the way that I, you know, think about, I don't think that we know what idolizing means, really.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we idolize things easily much more than what we think that means. But I don't idolize a person, you know.
I think it depends on who you would ask. I think, like, Jason would say it. He would say you idolize everything that you put.
Well, you know. But I just mean, like, specifically, you know, if I would say this is the most important thing in my life. All right, it's okay. Yeah, definitely. You got that earring? But yeah, you know, I wonder, you know, if that, you know, relationship was just so important to me because it's the main one in my life.
Yeah.
That and that might not be. It might just be protection over different things and from different things. You know, it might be time for separation or just. I mean, that's the word that I got the first time I ever tried to sit in solitude over my situation was protection. And I don't know if Mom remembers that. I told Mom that sometime last month. I was like, well, I tried, solitude and just listening to God, and this word stirred in my spirit, you know, was protection. I told Mom that like last month.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth with my life, you know, and now, you know, it could just be something like that, but, you know.
Yeah.
You know, they're dangerous.
Well, before we wrap it up, is there anything else you want to hit on? Anything else you want to say?
I don't think that my first brawlers on the balcony I didn't think was going to be so serious. But then I did call her the other day and say I was going to preach.
She did.
And
And
yeah. So I guess it's really just like sharing like a testimony of if anybody does watch this, of her 15 viewers and fans, one of which is me, and you are going through anything and you want any podcasts that I listen to or any of the meditation, it's not no like witchy woo stuff. It's just like focusing your mind on your body and breathing, you know, taking your thoughts into captivity for a moment to start your day on a positive note. And it's just a way of taking control and deciding how you're going to start your day. You're just going to start your day peacefully, quiet, you know, with joy, and, you know, it's just a calm and quiet way to start the day. And then I have one for nighttime too. So if you are interested, or, you know, if you know anybody that ever brings anything like that up or could use anything like that, it's helped me.
Yeah.
It's all helped me.
If you do watch this all the way through,
Yeah.
and you've gotten to that part, and that's something you're interested in, just leave a comment, and we'll either comment back, or I know anybody who watches this personally knows nothing, so I'll reach out to you. But I think that's all we got.
Yep. And little Louie is done good.
Little Louie is
Little
hot
Louie
and
is hot.
ready to get in a bath. But I think that's all we got. We will see you next week with Jason will be back. Listen, just a heads up, we do have a new bird's nest on the inside of our balcony. And if she has her baby, she might feel a little protective. So we might be Bronnerch on the balcony, parentheses,
Runners with the birds.
on the couch for next week. We'll
She's
see.
learned about Jesus tonight.
Yep. We just, saved the bird. So
Yeah.
the bird's going to heaven with
Bird is Holy Ghost filled.
I saw her speaking in tongues earlier.
And the rain came down and baptized her a minute ago. So.
Yeah, she did all the saving tonight.
Yeah.
But okay. See you guys later. Bye.
Bye.